Ahoy and welcome back to another video. It is the end of January and that means it's time to talk about my favorite games of January 2026. So the last couple of years, at the end of every month, I've been going through all the games I played for that past month and kind of making just like a little like time capsule of like my thoughts on a game at that point in the year, helping myself towards the end of the year when Game of the Year time starts coming around. I can go back and revisit these things and look back at how I felt about all these games throughout the year. So I like doing those videos the last couple of years. I'm going to do it again this year. So January has been a very fun month of games for me. I've only played one truly new January game this month, but I played a lot of really fun games this month that had come out prior to January. So the first one I'm going to start off with is technically it's a new release for the Switch 2, but it's not a new release in general. It is Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. So this been a PlayStation started off as a PlayStation exclusive, then it went to Steam, and then it finally went to Xbox and Switch 2 this last week or a couple weeks ago. And I could not resist buying this because if you didn't know this, Final Fantasy VII Remake is in my top 10 favorite games ever. I love this game. I was absolutely going to buy this. Even though it's a game key card, I didn't care. I was going to buy this no matter what. It came with some Magic the Gathering cards. I'm not a Magic the Gathering person, but nice little bonus. It's got a reversible cover art. Thought that was neat. I've already switched it to the reversible side. You got, you know, the look of Cloud and Sephiroth, and then you got the Yuffie Integrate DLC stuff on the back. So I just think it's a really cool box. Cards were nice, and it's only $40. So as far as like what most physical games cost these days for the Switch 2, this was a deal. And yeah, the game itself, I love the game. I played it on PS4 originally, and that game was, on the PS4 it ran at like 30 frames per second, and I got used to it. That's what I was comfortable with. I played Rebirth on the PS5 at 30 frames per second, and then this Switch 2 version of Remake also runs at 30 frames per second, but it looks really pretty on the handheld, and it's a very smooth 30. And because I'm used to playing these games, Remake and Rebirth, at 30 anyway, this just feels like an uncompromised version of those games to me, but I'm playing on my Switch, so I'm absolutely loving it. I'm only a few chapters in right now, because I haven't been like, I don't want to dedicate all my free time to replaying this game again, so I'm just kind of slowly chipping away at it, but I'm having a blast. Like I said, one of my favorite games, and I think this is a great way to experience it if you have not already experienced it. But my actual game of the month, my actual favorite new release for January, is a game I've also been playing on my Switch 2 called Big Hops. So Big Hops, you play as a frog named Hop. Hop is a little kid, and you're out exploring one day. You go too far, and you get sucked into another world. Whatever, bogus 3D platformer story, doesn't matter. What does matter in this game is it feels absolutely incredible to control. This game has, like, this is one of those, you know, expressive platformer, high skill ceiling platforming 3D platformer games. So it's great momentum, great speed, lots of different variety of jumps. You can swing around with your tongue. Hop has a backpack, and in that backpack you can store items which interact with the world in different ways. Like, for example, there's like a little pepper you can eat, and the pepper you can throw or eat to like breathe fire or cause a fire, which will burn certain things. It will change the environment. There's these other little plants that you can use to just like bounce off of things or to stick on the wall. Just a lot of little different ways to interact with the environment, on top of the great feeling and really high momentum, high speed platforming ability in the game. I've been having a blast with it. I've played it for about 4 hours. It's a bit of a longer game than I expected. I believe I played it for 4 hours, and it says I'm like 20% through, or maybe it's 3 hours. I'm 20% through the game, so I'm kind of going to believe that it's going to be about a 15-hour game. But I'm not worried about that because I'm enjoying what I've played so far. Every time I pick it up, it's just fun running around, jumping. There's a good amount of collectibles. The collectibles sometimes are like hidden through little environmental puzzles, like I mentioned, with like the burning stuff and sticking on stuff from the items in your backpack. And then sometimes, like I did like a little like time trial race where I had to use all these platforming skills I had learned and like use them really quickly to beat someone's time. And then you get these little things called dark drips, which is what you're hunting. And it's kind of like getting a star in a Mario game. Hop even does like the like hand up, like holding it thing, and it like has a name underneath of it for like the name of the dark drip you got. It's really showing like it's Mario inspirations. So yeah, I'm having a blast with it. I believe it is on PlayStation and Steam. I don't know about Xbox, but it's definitely on Switch and Switch 2. And I read some reviews at release that it had some like glitchiness with the Switch 2, especially in the late game. I personally have not experienced that, so I don't know if that A has been fixed or B, I haven't got to the part where it happens. But maybe if you are interested in this game, maybe do a little research and make sure that the Switch 2 version is fixed. I think the handheld nature of the Switch 2 makes it the best platform for this type of game. But if you're worried about the performance or some sort of bugginess stuff, check out the Steam version, the PlayStation version. Maybe is a better one for you. But yeah, Big Hops is great. I'm really enjoying it. I'm really looking forward to playing more of it. As far as non-January games I've been playing, I did finish. I think I mentioned it last month. I finished and 100%ed Hyrule Warriors: Age of Imprisonment. So this is, like the name implies, a Warriors Zelda game. If you haven't played a Warriors game before, they're really pretty repetitive hack and slash. You know, mobs of enemies, mashing buttons, killing hundreds of basic enemies. But what this game does, pretty well, I think, is there's a good variety of bosses, all, you know, Zelda enemies, and which, you know, Zelda bosses that are reminiscent of the things in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. But they do a good job of like having different weaknesses and ways to break up the combat where you can like counter their weaknesses and use certain attacks on certain cues to make the combat not just mashing the Y button the whole time, which is what you'll be doing the majority of the time with the regular mobs. The story in the game I thought was pretty solid. There's a lot of cutscenes, which I was impressed with. And it just kind of fleshes out more of the Tears of the Kingdom story, because you are playing as Zelda, doing what you're experiencing, what Zelda experienced in the events of Tears of the Kingdom. So yeah, story was a plus. I think just like the previous Hyrule Warriors, there's a little bit too many of the side missions where you really are just doing the same thing over and over again, and it just feels like you're doing something just to check a box, and it doesn't feel like you're really doing anything different. You're just doing the same thing over and over again to check a different box. And I like checking boxes, so it was good for a while, but it did start to really wear on me by the end when it just really starts overloading you with these little side quests. And I did it because in the last Hyrule Warriors, there was a cool reward for 100% of the game. I won't spoil what it is in case people care, but it was a cool thing that made me feel like doing the 100% was worth it. 100%ing this game, I'll just save you the time, is not worth it. The reward is very lackluster. It is not anything that changes the gameplay at all, or even like a visual thing in the gameplay. It's kind of a lame, not worth your time reward, and I would not recommend doing it. I wouldn't even recommend really doing the stuff that unlocks after beating the game, like the post-game stuff, because that's just really contributing to the 100%, to that 100% reward that I don't think is worth it. So I say my recommendation for this game is beat the game, enjoy the story, call it a day. Don't waste play this as a 20-hour game, not a 40-hour game like I did. Still really fun though. Next up, another game I've been playing this month. This came out a couple months ago, and it was on my list to play. I've been putting it off, didn't find time for it yet, but I was kind of getting the itch for a, traditional pixel art, RPG. And that's when I picked up my Steam Deck and started playing a game called Kingdom of the Dump. Or Kingdoms of the Dump. This is a, traditional SNES. It looks like an SNES era JRPG. And you play as Dustin Binsley. You're a trash can. And this game, being the Kingdom of the Dump, it is themed around trash. You're a trash can man. Your first NPC, your first party member is like a rat. Your next party member is a bug. Just lots of like dirty, nasty, trashy things in this world. And it really plays up to that world in the jokes and the dialogue and the storytelling, where like your save points in the game, all the save points are porta potties, and like the food you're eating to restore you isn't like, it's not like a potion or like a normal human food. It's like trash and like rotted lettuce and stuff like that. So it's been fun, kind of experiencing all those jokes and the funny ways they play on JRPG tropes, but through this like trash world. I do wonder if I'm like, I think I'm 8 or 9 hours in. I think it's like a 25-hour game. I do wonder if like around hour 20 I'm gonna be like kind of over it, because I'm already kind of getting to the point now where I'm not laughing at all the jokes anymore. I'm just kind of like, haha. I know another 5 hours, I'll be like, and then an hour 20, I'll be like, okay, I'm done with this. But the game, the good thing is though, the game itself is very fun. It is a traditional turn-based RPG, but you're on a grid system. So the way it works is you pick a series of options. You have attack, defend, item. You can use like special attacks, and then you can move. And the moving, from what I can tell, all it does is if you move. So you're on like a 3x3 grid. If you move closer to the enemy, you're going to do more damage, but you're also going to take more damage. And if you move away from the enemy, you're going to do less damage, but also take less damage. So you can move once per turn for free, and then you can attack after that. So you can move up, attack, do more damage, and so on. What it also does, though, is a lot of the attacks, and some of the regular environments will already have things on their own, but a lot of the attacks will create hazards on the 3x3 grid. So you can create hazards for your enemy, they can create hazards for you, and that kind of forces you to move in certain spots, move off of a lava tile, move off of a broken glass tile, and stuff like that. And some attacks you can push your opponents and so forth. So there is like a little sub game in the placement where you're at in the arena, and forcing your enemies to move and dodge, stuff like that. I think it's super fun. Pretty traditional level up system. You're moving, you're doing these battles, you're getting experience, you're leveling up, and then when you level up, you can pick like a certain stat that you want to get like an extra bit of stats in. So like I want extra an extra +1 to my attack on this level. And the next level I might pick defense, and so on and so forth. You pick up equipment, and the equipment changes your stats, changes your appearance on your little character equip screen, which I think is a nice touch. Like you start off as like a regular trash can, and then you get like the rusted bin, and it makes you look like a rusted. And then there was one where it's like the styrofoam bin, and you have like increased fire damage resistance, but like I have like a big thing of styrofoam in my chest. So it's really charming. I believe this game was actually made by janitors, custodians, and you can really tell that they are playing up this world, and it's been a great game. It's only on Steam right now, I believe. I don't know if it's going to come to other platforms in the future. I hope it does, because I think this game deserves to be played by more people, but I'm more than happy to play it on my Steam Deck for now. Next up, this is the game I've probably been playing the most, I would say, this month. I have probably the most hours in so far this month. And that is one of my favorites from my childhood, from one of my favorite series that just came to the Switch 2 via the GameCube NSO, and that is Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. This is my favorite first-party Nintendo GameCube game. My favorite GameCube game, period, is Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, but my favorite, like, Nintendo-made first-party game, Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. I love this game. I was hoping they would add it to NSO, sooner rather than later, and they actually added it, in a decent turnaround. Came out, I can't remember if it came out earlier this month or late in December. I think it was early January. And then, the moment it was released, I was like, okay, drop everything you're doing, go play Path of Radiance. So I've been playing through that. I'm on, chapter 15 or so. I keep telling myself, I'm like, okay, I'm going to play one chapter, then I'm going to do something else. I'm going to go work on a video, I'm going to play another game, I'm going to do stuff around the house, whatever. I play one chapter, then I play two chapters, and I'm like, oh, maybe I'll play a third chapter. It's so sticky, dude. I love this game so much. The story's great. I don't remember much of I remember the overarching story of this game, but I don't remember the details of the story in this game because I haven't played it all the way through and actually read the story since I was a kid. Because when you replay games, sometimes you start skipping the story. So this is the first time I've actually sat there and read all the dialogue in probably 15 years. So that's a lot of fun. The game is also really good about letting you make whatever characters you want to use viable. They will throw stat booster items at you as long as you're going out of your way to get all the chests and take on certain enemies. There's the bonus experience system in this game, which is literally a pool of experience that you can just award to certain characters at your base. So even if someone's falling behind or if you're not using them, you can literally just level them up at the base to catch them up and kind of force any character you want to use to be viable. And then that on top of just solid Fire Emblem map design, Fire Emblem gameplay that I love. This is one of my favorite Fire Emblems. My favorite is Three Houses, but Path of Radiance is in my top 3. It was one of my favorites early on. Then I think Radiant Dawn, its sequel, actually kind of surpassed it as one of my favorites. But Path of Radiance is in that top 3 upper echelon of my favorite Fire Emblem games. Like I mentioned, my favorite GameCube first-party Nintendo game. So I'm super glad it's on NSO. And then the last game I've been playing this month is actually one I've been putting off for a long time. The Resident Evil series is one that I got too late. I played Resident Evil 7 with some friends when that launched. I remember we played through it late into the night on the first day it came out, and then I think we played it on 2 different nights. And anyway, we beat that game over the weekend, whatever. But I wasn't playing the whole time. I was playing sometimes, watching sometimes. But my first real Resident Evil experience that I sat down and played all the way through was Resident Evil Village, and I loved that game. And then I got Resident Evil 4 Remake, loved that game. So I'm looking forward to Resident Evil 9, Requiem, coming out in February. So to prepare for that, on sale, I bought Resident Evil 2 Remake. I've had several friends recommend it to me, both people my brother-in-law recommended it to me. I've had close friends from my personal life recommend it to me. I've had friends from Discord and stuff like that recommend it to me. It's just one of those games I know I need to play, and I've been getting pinged from several different places. And then I was just checking the PlayStation Store, and last I checked the game was $40 and it wasn't on sale. I was like, well, I'll just get it anyway, whatever. And then I got on a couple days ago and it was on sale for $10. So I grabbed that and Resident Evil 3 Remake. And I've been playing, I've been streaming Resident Evil 2. I'm going to try to stream the whole thing. And if I have time, I'll stream Resident Evil 3 Remake before Requiem comes out. But it's so fun. What I love about these games is exploring the maps. They're really good, almost they're kind of like Metroidvania, forcing you to go back and explore, get stuff to unlock a new room, to find stuff in that room and go back here. It's just you're constantly looping back on yourself, The maps are so well designed. The difficulty is so like perfectly tuned to where like I always feel like I have just enough like ammo to get me by. Right now, I where I'm currently at, I feel like I've actually kind of like been building up a good storage of ammo, but I know there's going to be a moment where I have to waste all of it, and it's going to deplete that, and I have to build it back up. But it's such a good job of like making me feel like I'm really having to think about what I'm keeping in my inventory. And I've had several times to get to items and just like leave them there on the ground because I don't have room in my inventory, and remember to come back to them. And it's just been a blast. The shooting feels real good. I'm not very good at like third person shooting, so I'm like missing a lot of shots and like wasting ammo. But when you do connect, it does feel really good. And that feedback and the sound and the visual, like the splattering, is very good. I haven't got to the point yet where I know, what's his name, Mr. X, the big dude that's gonna like chase me around. I know he's gonna show up. I don't like being chased in games. Like I remember in Resident Evil Village, Lady Dimitrescu, whatever her name is, the Lady D, the giant vampire lady. The section of the game where she's like chasing around the castle, I hate that. I hate being chased. And I know Mr. X is going to do that to me at some point in this game, so I'm just going to have to power through it. But it's been a blast so far. I can't wait to play more of it. This weekend I'm going to probably try to stream a good chunk of it. I have a pretty open Saturday, so I'm going to try to sit down for a few hours and get some good progress in RE2 Remake. I'm just like so excited for Resident Evil Requiem. So this has been like a really good like a primer for that. But yeah, that's all I've got. 6 games, 2 that are like new releases and 4 previous releases. But yeah, a great month of games, even though there wasn't like a whole lot of like new games that I was super looking forward to. There's a couple games that came out recently at the end of January. Some indie games that I might go back and look into later on. But I played Big Hops. That's an indie game, 3D platform. I love 3D platformers. If you love 3D platformers, you should check out Big Hops as well. Next month, like I already kind of mentioned, it's going to be the Resident Evil Requiem month. So that will likely be my favorite game of February, but we're not there yet, so we'll have to see. Yeah, so thanks again for watching. Great month of January, and we'll see you next time.